Thank you very much. I don't currently reside in California. Those were 4 very good years when I attended Thomas Aquinas College. But now I am back in Alberta and actually pursuing an education after degree at Concordia University College. So I enjoy the program. If any of you are interested in education, I can recommend it personally. But back to my undergraduate degree. I chose Thomas Aquinas College because I was interested in the fact that we studied classical texts and we studied them via discussion. I really enjoyed the idea of a discussion method. As a teenager, I would get together with friends, read a book, and discuss it. And we thought that was fun. Not everyone does that for fun as a teenager, and believe me, that was not all we did for fun as teenagers, but we thought it was fun and we did it. And we thought, if there's a school where we can get a university degree, where we can continue on learning by discussing great ideas written by great authors and, come to realizations ourselves, that would be fabulous. And such a school exists in California called Thomas Aquinas. Now, TAC allows you to study about 159 authors in 4 years. The idea is that humans are rational beings. That's what makes us different from animals. Biologically, we're like animals. What makes us different? We have rationality. We can develop our reason. We can come to our own thoughts and conclusions. We can invent things. We can imagine things. So instead of going through a training program where we just write down what we hear and try and remember it so that we can apply it to something else, the idea of this classical program is to allow you to take an idea, think about it, struggle with it, discuss it, and come to a conclusion yourself. Thomas Aquinas College holds that there is one truth. Truth is not a relative thing. However, are we going to just listen to one person's opinion about the way something is, the way somebody sees truth, and just write it down and say, yes, this is truth? Or are we going to take that idea, wrestle with it a bit, take somebody else's idea that's not quite the same, maybe change our perspective a little bit, and then come to our own understanding as best we can of truth, so that it's not just something that we can know, log away someplace in case we need to pull that little piece of information out and apply it to some work or aspect of life someday, but actually be changed ourselves by how we have come to understand truth. That's all very abstract. The more concrete part of Thomas Aquinas College, the program, is to use the great ideas from the great authors throughout history as a soundboard where we can develop our own ideas. So I want to start with just 2 quotes. One is from Descartes, who said, "Reading good books is like having a conversation with the most distinguished men of ages past. Indeed, it is a rehearsed conversation in which the authors only reveal to us the best of their thoughts." And again, C.S. Lewis, who said, "The simplest student will be able to understand, if not all, yet a very great deal of what Plato said, but hardly anyone can understand some modern books on Platonism. It has always, therefore, been one of my main endeavors as a teacher to persuade the young that first-hand knowledge is not only more worth acquiring than second-hand knowledge, but is usually much easier and more delightful to acquire." So we start out with ancient philosophy, Plato, Aristotle, ancient math, Euclidean geometry, and we progress along the historical progression of Western thought and science until we get right up to modern times. We're wrestling with Descartes. What do we learn from him? We learn his philosophy and Cartesian coordinates, which takes us into algebra. We learn about calculus right from its geometric roots. We move on in a progression using only the original authors to look at, finally, Newtonian physics and relativity by Einstein. We read authors like Kant and Hegel, and we wrestle with those ideas. Our theology comes from church fathers. We study and read St. Augustine. We read St. Thomas Aquinas, the namesake of the college, and look really closely into these ideas, struggle with them, discuss them, and in groups of only 17 students per class with a tutor guiding the conversation, we come to our own conclusions about these texts. The idea that the great books are full of incredible thoughts, that's easy to appreciate. Appreciating those thoughts directly out of the books is not so easy, which is why we have tutors who can help us by asking just the right question to bring out of ourselves a reasonable answer. So, a typical class will start something like this. You do a reading, you come into class, open with a prayer, and the tutor says, "What do you think so-and-so meant on page such and such?" And a brave individual student will say, "Well, I thought it meant this." Another student will say, "Well, actually, I thought it meant this because of this text." This discussion begins, is guided, and whenever it starts to stray a little bit, and a lot of people say this discussion method, it sounds a little bit sketchy. You must get off topic a lot. Thus, we have a tutor in the room who is insightful and is able to say, "That's great, but how about this question here?" and bring the conversation back on track. Now, the order integration of the program is based on the classical trivium, which is logic, grammar, and rhetoric, and the quadrivium, arithmetic, music, geometry, and astronomy. These things have value in themselves, but the greatest thing that you learn at Thomas Aquinas College is the ability to think, to wrestle with an idea, to come to your own conclusion, and to solve problems. I have a quote from Choosing the Right College last year. There's an Intercollegiate Studies Institute, and they said the keystone to Thomas Aquinas College's education is its corporate commitment to a rationally knowable, objective reality. TAC believes that truth, with an emphatically capital T, is accessible through faith and reason. Thomas Aquinas is the chief model guide and teacher for using these faculties to grasp the nature of things. TAC does not press ideas onto students through lectures and textbooks, but genuinely tries to lead them through the Socratic method, placing the emphasis on their own reasoning powers as engaged with the text and other readers. As for the spiritual life on campus, it is a Catholic school following a Catholic tradition of teaching with access to the sacraments on a daily basis. There are 3 masses a day in the college chapel. However, the exact percentage of Catholics I'm not sure of, but there are many non-Catholics, Protestant brothers. We have atheists, agnostics, people just wanting to develop their minds and use the approach that this school uses to develop the reason. And so the diversity you'll find around a table and the different perspectives that are entering into a discussion are quite phenomenal sometimes and lead to very rewarding discussions. The campus life is wonderful. We have beautiful dorms and a beautiful campus situated on the edge of the Los Padres National Forest in California, about 20 miles from Ventura and the beach, about 45 minutes from Santa Barbara, an hour from Los Angeles, lots of access to art and entertainment and recreation. The campus itself has dorms. You live in residence in the campus. The community life is fabulous. Since everyone at TAC, I didn't mention this, studies the same program, there are no electives. It is all integrated beginning to end for all 4 years. You cannot transfer into TAC. You can transfer out of it into many universities, readily accept the credit, but you can't transfer in. You have to start at the beginning and work your way through. A benefit of this is that everyone you talk to either is currently struggling with the same questions you are, has struggled with these questions before, or is going to struggle with them so you can help them out. You go to the college coffee shop, grab a rather inexpensive but delicious latte, and say, "You know what, I'm really having difficulty with Kant. This guy is a little bit difficult to understand," to put it, mildly. And you'll have somebody there say, "Oh, you know what, when I yada yada, and then I such and such, and why don't you look at this? Have you looked at this page yet? Have you looked at that in depth? That was really helpful to me last year." And so people bind together and really help each other wrestle with these ideas. You have people who have careers looking for a change of pace coming to Thomas Aquinas College. A lot of mature students. I had a friend who is an engineer at a nuclear waste facility. Pretty high-end work, lots of money, great career, a very smart guy, and he said, I just want to study some philosophy and theology. So we had a guy like him helping us wrestle through some of the great thoughts of Western philosophy. And many of my classmates and other graduates before me at TAC have gone on to do some very interesting work. Many have entered politics or law. We have lots of, in the medical profession, many educators. We have people in the military. I think I've got 5 classmates that are now officers overseas in the Marine Corps. The range of careers that these people go into is phenomenal because Thomas Aquinas does not prepare you for one job. It's not a tech school. It prepares you for life as a critical thinker and a person who is able to decode and understand something and come to your own conclusions. And also people generally need to have a pretty good work ethic to get through Thomas Aquinas College because it's very, very full and intense. And to make the most of it, you either already have or develop very strong work ethic. So the students go many places from this school. I will very briefly just talk about admission. A lot of people ask about what it takes for homeschoolers to get into a school like this. I think about 30% of the total student body at Thomas Aquinas College were homeschooled. They love homeschooled students and require from homeschoolers the same thing they require from graduates of a regular high school, and that is 3 letters of reference, a couple of essays, an SAT or ACT score, and a transcript of your studies in high school. And what they like to see in your high school transcript, even if you are homeschooled, is at least 2 years of algebra, 1 year of geometry, and preferably a foreign language, at least 2 years of a foreign language. Additional work in mathematics and language study and natural science, those are all encouraged as well, but the minimum 2 years in algebra is enough to get you started so that you can continue along with the inventors of more advanced math and eventually understand calculus geometrically, for example. There's no application fee, which is really wonderful. So if you want it to be an option, it's not going to cost you, $100 or $500 to find out whether or not it's something for you. The fees and financial aid at Thomas Aquinas College, I think the tuition and the room and board together as a package deal is about $30,000 US per year, which is quite steep. However, they are also rated 99, which is the highest possible rating in the United States for financial aid out of any universities. So, for example, if you demonstrate that you do not have sufficient funds, they have a mandate not to turn anyone away for that reason. They will say, well, first of all, we'll offer you employment on the campus for 13 hours a week. Then we will ask you to take out a loan of $3,500. And then we will look into your parents' financial situation. And if your parents have a lot of kids, they're all going to university, it's clear you don't own vacation property in Florida, yada yada, we think it's reasonable for parents to pay this much, or perhaps nothing at all in the case of some of my friends. And their goal is that every student who applies can graduate with less than $15,000 of debt, which is a phenomenal thing for a private college in the United States. Last but not least, if you're curious about Thomas Aquinas College, there's a great summer program that they offer in July for 2 weeks. And what you'll be doing is experiencing what classes are like. You'll prepare a couple of mathematical demonstrations and have a math class and demonstrate them on the board as if you were a freshman at TAC. You'll have some discussions about some interesting texts. And you'll go for field trips to the beach and go hiking in the mountains. And you'll just see if you like the feel of the campus and the sort of community life that you're likely to find there. So it's a great come and see if you are interested, and I have a bunch of these pamphlets with information on that available at the back. I just want to end with one quote from Mark Twain. He said that those who don't read good books have no advantage over those who can't. So read good books. Are there any questions? Yes?
Did you say 4 years?
I did say 4 years.
Is there a semantic difference? You said tutor.
Tutor.
Teacher, not professor.
Yeah, there is a semantic difference. Our professors, which we call tutors, are called tutors because they don't lecture to us. They guide us. And so when you're in a room with 17 people and you are looking to the person only once in a while for direction, but really learning from yourself and from your classmates, they thought it's more appropriate to refer to our professors as tutors. But it really is a semantic difference. And all of the professors or tutors at Thomas Aquinas College, they come from a variety of backgrounds. All of them have they have at least their master's. They're all either have or are working on a PhD. Great background. I think I had 2 astrophysicists from NASA who decided to have a change of career and taught natural science. They were really good. But yeah, we refer to them all as tutors, and it also breaks down some of the barriers between student and professor, I think. But yeah, semantic difference. Yes? Not difficult at all. I think when I was at Thomas Aquinas College, 10% of the student body was Canadian. They take care of you, of all of your paperwork. Well, at least they help guide you along it. You must apply quite early anyway because it's a rolling admissions. And so the earlier you apply, the better. I would recommend applying before January at least for the following academic year. That also allows plenty of time to apply for your student visa. They give you a social security number, a temporary one, so that you can work on campus and take care of all those things, tell you exactly what to do. So in the end, it's not a very difficult process, but yeah, they look quite kindly on their Canadian students. Yes? I think they did not transfer to. It was probably Christendom College and Ave Maria and Steubenville are some of those, but you actually cannot transfer into Thomas Aquinas. Correct, that's not one of the options. Right, or I mean 1 year in or 2 years in and then you transfer out to someplace else as well. You can transfer out and other schools are very happy to take TAC students, but they just won't allow someone in because of the integration in the program. The design is so, it builds on itself in such a way that it really would not be possible to thrive if you transferred in. Yes? That is the price. However, for U.S. citizen, there are scholarships that are available that would not be available to Canadians. I think particularly California residents can apply for a great number of scholarships that non-California residents cannot. But the price is $29,000 something odd dollars, US dollars period, regardless of where you come from. Any other questions? Oh, is it? All right. How many wisdom grads go there? That's a great question. Lots of wisdom grads go to Thomas Aquinas College. In my year, we had Daniel Amy, Francis Fast, and Mark Eisinger and myself all were there. We ran into, I think there were at least 4 others, maybe 5 others there at the same time as us. Now, one of these Alberta Wisdom grads is pursuing a doctorate of philosophy at University of Dallas. One of these is at, what's that? Oh, sorry, on a full ride. I shouldn't leave that out. On a full ride at University of Dallas getting his doctorate. And we have another one who got accepted in the architecture program at Notre Dame University, and a very prestigious program in classical architecture. He's doing very well there. And we have another one making wine at Alberta's only organic winery. And I'm getting my ed degree. So there you go. Those are 4 wisdom students who went to TAC. In one car. Thank you very much.